It just hit me. Is there a possibility that Chloe is buried underneath that basement?
You never came out of your house to assist or investigate in any matter whatsoever, did you, Mr. Albert?
No.
You already indicated she was barking because she heard people and noises downstairs when you guys came in the house.
Yes.
If you wanted to move something large or heavy out of that basement without having to go through the main house, could you do that?
Yes.
And welcome back to Buckle Up. It's the Law with Attorney Larry Forman. Folks, today we're going to continue with the testimony of trial number 1 in May of 2024 of Brian Albert. Without further ado, let's continue the killer, the real killer's testimony about what happened on January 29th, 2022. Let's go.
The dog was in my room.
And she was sleeping on a mat in your room.
Yes.
And that mat is also about 6 feet from the windows.
Yes.
6 feet being from me to Miss Little, maybe this far?
Could be, yes. Maybe a little further, but yes.
Maybe this far?
Maybe.
It's a relatively quiet street generally, Fairview.
Yes.
Not an enormous amount of through traffic.
No.
Not a busy freeway or a highway, correct?
No.
Not an especially noisy street,
The street, no.
especially at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning, right?
Right.
Where were you at 6:03 on the morning of January 29th, 2022?
I was sleeping in my room.
6 feet from that window.
Yes.
Was Nicole in bed with you?
Yes.
Had you taken any medication the night before?
No.
Were you on any sedatives?
No.
Sleeping pills?
No.
Were you wearing a sleep apnea machine?
No.
Were you wearing an eye mask?
No.
Were you wearing earplugs?
No.
And you
Shortly
slept through
thereafter,
it?
became aware that 6 emergency vehicles, including a fire engine, police cruisers, and unmarked police vehicles, a civilian SUV, were all parked in front of your house that morning, correct?
I'm not aware of what type of vehicles were parked there, no.
You seen photographs since this incident?
Of the vehicles out front?
Right.
No.
Are you aware that all of those vehicles had their engines running?
No.
Are you aware that all the emergency vehicles at least had their lights on, flashing lights?
No.
Were you aware that there were a number of first responders outside their vehicles traipsing around your lawn?
Was I aware?
Were you aware at the time?
No.
Were you aware that there were emergency responders, first responders, who were talking to each other over the din of the wind and the snow
What?
to communicate with each other?
No.
You're aware that there were 3 women on your lawn at one point?
Just only after the fact.
And at least one of those women was screaming to the top of her lungs at 6:03?
No.
Again,
Karen.
your German Shepherd was 6 feet from the window, correct?
I don't know that for sure.
That's where her mat was.
Well, that doesn't mean that's where she always is. She also sleeps in the closet area sometimes.
Oh, so now Chloe's in the closet.
I didn't say she was in the closet. I said she sleeps in the closet area sometimes.
Was she sleeping in the closet area that morning?
I don't remember.
Likelihood is she was sleeping on that mat 5 or 6 feet from that window, correct?
Objection. I don't know.
And your explanation, and by the way, we've already talked about this. Earlier that day, you've already indicated she was barking because she heard people and noises downstairs when you guys came in the house.
Yes.
Okay. And your explanation is that you and Nicole and Chloe, the German Shepherd, all slept through the entirety of that commotion on your front lawn.
Yes.
Ludicrous.
To be clear, you are a trained first responder.
Yes.
Yet during that entire event, after you were awakened, all that chaos on your front lawn, you never came out of your house to assist or investigate in any matter whatsoever, did you, Mr. Albert?
Once I was awakened?
Correct.
No.
We've talked about this a little bit, but I want to ask you a couple of other questions about the layout of the house. Your house is sitting on top of a basement, correct?
Yes.
Or was at the time. Describe how you get to the basement from inside the house if you come in the front door. And when I say, I'm sorry to do this, I don't mean to interrupt you. There's 2 front doors that you can go in, correct?
Yes.
For purposes of my question, Mr. Albert, I'm going to talk about the one that's right in front of you, the obvious one, as the front door, and the one to the right of it, as you're looking at the house, is the side door. okay?
Okay.
Because I don't know how else to describe it. If you come in the front door, describe for the jurors, where is the basement door as compared to that?
So you walk straight ahead, you pass the kitchen dining room area opening on your right-hand side, and there's a door on the left.
How many paces? The door opens, how many paces to walk over and grab that door handle?
I'm not sure, maybe 10?
10 full paces.
Maybe, yeah.
So
Maybe 8, maybe 8.
Mr. Albert, it's about 4 long steps, correct?
Well, I don't know, you asked paces, so,
Right.
6 feet,
6 feet.
6 to 8 feet, maybe.
Got it. What was the basement used for in January of 2022?
So the basement had a weight room in one of the rooms, and the other room was nothing at the time. It had been damaged, water damage due to an overflowed toilet.
So part of the flooring had been ripped up,
Yes,
and that opened up some slab concrete downstairs.
yes,
There was also some plywood downstairs.
yes,
There were a couple of mats where the actual weights were, so they're not slamming down onto concrete.
yes,
But there was a good amount of that floor that was just exposed concrete.
yes.
It just hit me. Is there a possibility that Chloe is buried underneath that basement? I know it seems ludicrous. I mean, these people are pretty good at covering their tracks, but what if they actually thought, like, no one's ever going to check. We're just going to remodel the basement. And what if Chloe's remains are still underneath that basement? One day somebody is going to have to dig that up just to be sure. But it's very possible when they redid the basement, they're like, look, no one's ever going to check this. And if I tried to, like, dispose of the carcass of an animal, I may get caught. People might start asking questions. What if we just take care of her and bury her in our basement, underneath our basement? And that way, nobody sees anything. Everything stays inside the house. Just like John's murder. I can't help but wonder, what if? What if?
The workout equipment would include things like, what, barbells, dumbbells,
Yes,
heavy weights,
yes,
heavy bars,
yep,
made from metal.
yep,
Once you're down in the basement, by the way, there's 2 flights that you go down at angles to get to the basement. A series of steps, a landing, take a left, another series of steps, and you stand on the basement.
yes. Not a long staircase, very small, but
Right. I mean, it's narrow and tight, but in other words, you don't just walk straight down a staircase. You go down to a landing, turn left,
turns a little.
go down, turn left again, and now you're in the basement.
Yes.
If you wanted to move something large or heavy out of that basement without having to go through the house, could you do that?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Could you rephrase the question?
I'll say it again. If you wanted to move something large or heavy out of that basement without having to go through the main house, could you do that?
Yes, I mean, it would depend what it was, obviously, how big it was, or
How would you do that?
there's a bulkhead door you can use.
Got it. Where does that bulkhead door come out of?
It comes out to the backyard right at the kitchen area. You can see it from the kitchen.
And right to the left of that is the side fence.
Yes,
And directly through that side fence is the front yard.
yes,
The same side of the front yard as John O'Keefe's body was found.
yes.
Ooh, that side eye.
Yes.
The side eye to the jury. He's very nervous.
Mr. Albert, and if you could please tell me if you recognize what's depicted in that photograph.
Yes, it's the bulkhead stairway.
Is that the stairway that you earlier described for the jurors as servicing the basement going into the backyard?
Yes,
Do you see what's depicted on the television screen?
yes,
Does that appear to be the same as what you're holding right there, that exhibit?
it does, yes.
Okay, I'm going to direct your attention, if I could, to the lower left portion of this photograph. Can you tell what that is?
I can't.
Let me highlight it one more time, right there. Maybe it's easier if you look on your photograph.
Are you referring to the doorknob? Yeah, I got it here, yes.
I'm sorry, it's sort of hidden on that photograph, so I apologize. is that the door that swings open or closed to close off the basement?
Yes.
Then if you open that door, it's in the open position now, correct?
Yes.
So the photographer is standing in the basement looking toward the doorway, correct?
Yes.
Then you climb 7 or 8 stairs,
Yes.
and that bulkhead door, which is where all the light is emanating, how does that open?
So the bulkhead door opens straight up.
Okay, at least in that photograph, it was hinged toward the house and would open up like a, I don't know, like a sandwich or something.
It opens straight up to the bay windows that are in the kitchen.
Got it, okay. Okay, that's all I need for that photograph. Your Honor, I have a flash drive with a video on it. I'd ask that this be marked as next in order. Court's permission.
Assuming it's the same one, no objection.
It's the same one.
Exhibit 69. Thank you.
Mr. Albert, I want to ask you to take a look in just a second at a video and then describe if you recognize what's in that video. I'll probably play maybe 5 or 10 seconds of it and then pause it. If that's okay.
Okay.
Court's permission?
Yes.
Do you recognize what's depicted in that video, at least up to that point?
No.
Okay. Does that look like your basement door, although the bulkhead doors have been replaced different?
The whole thing looks different to me.
Let's go ahead and play the video. Pause. Now do you recognize what's depicted in the video?
Yes.
What is that?
So that's was my backyard.
Okay. And what area is over to the left over here?
That's a gate
Okay. And what does that gate open up
to the front yard.
So the area that we're looking at right now, where the photographer is standing, is the backyard?
Yes.
Now, having seen that, notwithstanding the way that the bulkhead doors open, now do you recognize what was depicted at the beginning of the video, which was that staircase?
Yes. The downstairs door, the door itself, the wooden door itself, also looks different.
Okay, so, but it is
But it is the stairway. Yes.
going into the basement?
Yes.
Or coming out of the basement?
Yes.
So in other words, another way to put that is, that represented the ingress and egress through the bulkhead to the basement?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and play this. Did you recognize what was depicted in the video? Bring the lights up. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Did you recognize what was depicted in the video as it continued to play?
Yes.
Describe that for the jurors, please.
It looked like the video was from walking from the backyard towards the front yard.
So the video started at the bulkhead door, turned toward the fence, went through the fence, and right up toward the flagpole, correct?
Yes.
Is that an accurate representation of the layout of the house when you lived there on January 29th, 2022?
Yes.
With the exception of the bulkhead door having been replaced and maybe the basement door.
Yes.
By the way, the 34 Fairview house had been in your family at that time in 2022 for 2 generations?
My parents built the house in the late 70s, 79 maybe.
So if your parents are 1 generation, you and your family are another generation, 2 generations.
Right.
Nearly, maybe actually a little more than 50 years, half a century.
That what?
That it was the Albert home.
Yes.
The fact is, you listed that house for sale for the first time ever in November of 2022, correct?
That's the time we listed it, yes.
Just months after John O'Keefe was found on your lawn.
Objection.
It's a fact.
Mr. Albert, is that timing, according to you, a coincidence?
Is what?
Is that timing a coincidence?
Well, that's not the timing, actually. We contacted the realtor in 2021, finally listed it in 2022.
Liar.
So that would be pre-incident.
So the listing coming 9 months after John O'Keefe was found dead in your lawn, or dying in your lawn, that's just coincidence. You had this in place long before that.
Objection.
Is
So I'll sustain the question. You can ask it differently.
Sure. All I'm asking is the timing, November of 2022, listing that house for sale for the first time
It's after.
in November, that in your mind is just a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence because we started trying to look into selling the house in 2021, which was the few months prior to the incident.
On January 28th, 2022, you were still an active Boston police officer, correct?
Yes,
What was your job title in January 2022?
Sergeant Detective.
That means you not only respond to incidents, you actually conduct investigations as a detective, correct?
Yes, primarily fugitive investigations.
You have additional training in order to hold the title and hold a position as a detective, is that right?
Yes,
Not just a regular patrol officer, you have to have special training to get to the rank of detective, is that right?
yes,
As a sergeant detective, that's above a regular detective, indeed, because you're a supervising detective, is that right?
yes,
You have experience and training in order to hold that position as a supervisor in the detective spot as well.
yes. There's civil service tests for the rank, but yes,
And you've investigated crimes, I mean, I'm guessing just a ton of different types of crimes, including assaults, manslaughters, homicides, kidnappings, things of that nature.
no,
You've never investigated anything like that.
no.
So what's
Really?
the parameters of your investigative skills as you held that title of sergeant detective?
So my parameters were investigating fugitive investigations. That was my specialty, I guess you could say.
So you've responded to, obviously, to countless incidents and scenes as both a patrol officer
Yes.
as well as a detective.
Yes,
You've supervised the investigation of at least the fugitive type of crimes, correct?
yes,
Fugitives trying to thwart investigators to try to find them, right?
yes,
I mean, that's their whole, it's the cat and mouse thing, right?
right.
You being the cat, correct?
Sometimes,
Find the
some,
mouse.
yes,
You're also trained in techniques, obviously, any detective would be trained in techniques that culprits might use or suspects might use to sort of cover up investigations. I'm sorry, to cover up crimes, to thwart investigations, correct?
Objection.
Do you have that training, sir?
no,
So you, in all of your training, 30 years as a Boston police officer, and as a sergeant detective, you don't have any training in what techniques criminals might use to try to cover up their conduct?
no. I've never gone to a training for criminals to cover up conduct, no.
Never been trained in the fact that, I don't know,
Really?
somebody might want to clean up blood at a scene.
No,
Objection.
Let the answer stand.
What about sanitizing a location?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
no,
What about getting rid of electronic data? You've got to have training in that.
no,
In other
Really?
words, the fugitives that
Wow.
you chase down and try to find,
What a
you
liar.
don't try to utilize electronic data to go after them?
Brian.
sometimes we do, but I don't have any training in it per se.
I mean, things like GPS data and phone calls and text messages and communications and things of that nature, obviously.
Yes, yes,
Clearly. These are all things that, at least those things, are things that if you didn't have formal training, you got on the job training and just have common sense
Yeah.
about how to go after these
At least.
this type of evidence, correct?
yes,
I mean, Brian Albert is making himself sound like he's completely incompetent. Like he knows nothing. He has learned nothing. He has acquired no knowledge. Like, come on, dude, nobody believes you. You
So
don't
you
believe
had an
you.
iPhone with a number ending in 0888 back in January 2022, did you not?
yes.
How many years did you have that iPhone as of January 28, 2022?
Of several years, I'm not sure how many, but multiple years.
And Mr. Albert, you were notified by the Commonwealth that on September 23rd, 2022, in the fall of 2022, a judge specifically ordered that you were to preserve that phone.
Objection, Your Honor.
Data, correct?
I'll see counsel at sidebar.
You are currently represented by Mr. Hennigan.
Yes,
Okay, so
yes.
hold on. We're gonna do this part next time. So now you'll see the jury's gonna leave the room and they're gonna do this portion outside the presence of the jury. Okay, we'll do that in the next episode. As always, I'm leaving you guys on a cliffhanger. We are about halfway done through Brian Albert's testimony as of the recording of this video. We are now officially in June of 2025. Of course, the Karen Reed case is wrapping up, and there are only a few more Brian Albert videos that I have to release, and we're going to catch up on all the other defense witnesses that we may have missed, and get ready for closing arguments any day now by the defense, folks. Karen Reed Part 2 is coming to a close. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everybody.